Good morning, beautiful black people. I hope that all is well in your world and this day will progress very, very successfully for you and all of your wonderful, wonderful black loved ones. My beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters, know this. Those white boys, those white boys that are hired and employed by the 18,000 police departments right here on this plantation called America. And those white boys that are elected to become mayors, county commissioners, city council people, etc., etc. Locally, those white boys that are elected to become state governors, state senators, state representatives, etc., etc. Judges that serve on the state Supreme Courts, and those white boys and white girls that are elected to become U.S. Congress persons, U.S. senators, to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court, and yes, to serve in the white boy house. Global white supremacy has inundated all facets of life right here on this plantation called America, and it has affected, it has infected every entity, even in the U.S. military, is infected with that white supremacy virus, that hatred virus. It is a pandemic because it has infested and affected people all across the globe. Those white boys in all of those entities, that I just mentioned are unable, they are totally unable to determine, to realize, to rationalize logically and see and conclude the difference between the power of what they can do, the protection of what they can do, and the power and protection of what they should do. If you cannot rationalize logically the difference between what you can do and what you should do, then you should not be a police officer. You should not be a politician, locally, statewide, nor nationally. You should not be a judge on the state Supreme Court, or even locally. You should not be a judge on the U.S. Supreme Court. Kavanaugh should not be on the U.S. Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas should not be on the U.S. Supreme Court. Judge Gorsuch should not be on the U.S. Supreme Court. Mitch McConnell should not be a U.S. Senator. Donald Trump should not be in the Whiteboy House. Devin Nunes should not be a U.S. Congressman. And I could go on and on. Those white boys and white girls that are taking advantage of inside stock market information and using it to enrich themselves should not be in politics. Those white boys that are being bought by Fortune 500 companies, the big oil companies, Wall Street executives, rich, racist, white Americans should not be in the U.S. Senate. For example, Mitch McConnell, John Burr, Kevin McCarthy. Those folks are unfit to serve the American people. These white boys on these 18,000 police forces are unfit to protect and serve the American citizens. Hence is why every day an irrational thinking white boy will pull out his gun and kill an unarmed black person when it did not have to end that way. Because there is a distinct difference between what you can do and what you should do, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Think of this. You do not see black politicians being caught up in these stock selling and purchasing schemes based on the inside information that they had. You do not see these black politicians being bought and owned by huge Chinese-owned corporations, marrying rich Chinese women so that they can push the advantages, the wants and needs of these wealthy Chinese corporations, these wealthy Chinese companies. These white boys that are white supremacy leaning, white supremacy believing, white nationalists supporting should not be politicians. should not be police officers, should not be given a position whereby they have influence, power, and authority over the rest of us. None of these white boys, these irrational white boys, should have a gun and a badge and the power to kill, a license to kill. These murderers, these criminals, these murderers in the white boy house, these murderers on these 18,000 police forces, these criminals in the U.S. Congress, these criminals in the U.S. Senate, these criminals on the U.S. Supreme Court, these criminals in the DOJ are unfit to serve. These criminals in the State Department, these criminals of the U.S. Treasury are unfit to serve. For too long, stupid white boy logic has been used to elect these criminals to local political positions, to statewide political positions, to national political positions. We now have a criminal, a murderer, heading the DOJ, heading the State Department, heading the Treasury Department. Even within the IRS, it's being led by a criminal. One of these stupid white boys using stupid white boy logic to govern the rest of us. We can no longer afford to have these stupid white boys using stupid white boy logic to be placed in positions of power, authority, influence, to govern the rest of us, my beautiful black brothers and sisters. It is not black cops that are killing unarmed black folks. Black cops are not killing unarmed white folks. It is these illogical thinking, delusionist-minded white boys using stupid white boy logic that is killing unarmed black folks, people that look like me every day of our lives. It is these stupid, unfit white boys in the U.S. Congress, in the U.S. Senate, on the U.S. Supreme Court, within the DOJ, within the State Department, within the U.S. Treasury, and in the white boy house. It's these stupid, unfit illogical thinking, irrational living, stupid white boys using stupid white boy logic that are given the power, the authority to govern the rest of us. We are being misgoverned. We are being misled. Too many white folks are socially engineered to the nth degree, following these stupid white boys that are using stupid white boy logic like a herd of sheep, following them to the river to jump in. Too many black folks, people that look like me, have been socially engineered to the point to where they think if it's white, then it is right. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. What we need right here on this plantation called America and globally is more non-white folks that have arrived at a place where they know who they are and they know the difference between right and wrong. They realize that having a moral principles, having a good, positive, moral compass is what real men and real women are about. Real men and real women cannot be bought. They do not take bribes. They do not use inside information to enrich themselves. They do not pull out a gun and shoot unarmed people dead because they have the power to do that. Real men and women know the difference between what they can do and what they should do. Real men and real women are not conspiring with the Russians to fix elections. Real men and real women are not looting the federal government, are not looting the taxpayers of $500 million every other week or every month. Real men and real women are honest. Real men and real women have integrity. Real men and real women have character. Real men and real women are loyal. They are patriotic. They realize that we are all in this thing together and that I am because we are. We need to organize, aggregate, and start electing real men and real women to govern us. We need to devise ways to weed out all of those unfit white boys that are on our 18,000 police forces right here on this plantation called America. Real men and real women know the difference between what they can do and what they should do. Real men and real women will use their authority and power for the good rather than developing an insatiable attitude for brutality, for death, for criminal activities, etc., etc. That's what I have on this one. Please go to thethrasherway.libsyn.com. There you will have access to all that I do.